as of this weekend, Tesla have finally stopped selling full self-driving. In America, it's now subscription only, and that is a move that is about to follow everywhere in the world where you can have full self-driving. And this is fantastic news, because if you do the maths, and I have, what it shows me is that FSD is going to get really cheap really quickly. Hello again, YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. And yes, I do mean really cheap, because there is no way that Elon Musk can hit the 10 million subscribers target at $99 a month. It just isn't mathematically possible. Let's get inside the car and I'm going to read you some notes and show you why. So look, I know that FSD is one of those topics that does seem to excite quite a lot of people, including myself, although not necessarily excited in the same way as some other people. And let's actually talk about this and look at the stats. You know, I'm a numbers guy, and actually I'm really encouraged by this. Look, again, preface, I am a customer of FSD. As soon as it's available, I will be subscribing. I would probably have bought it, as I've bought Enhanced Autopilot twice, okay? So I am one of the people who actually wants FSD, but I also understand that I am, relatively speaking, in the minority. So look, here's the point. To hit Elon Musk's 10 million subscribers target, they're going to have to do something, and they're going to have to do something substantial. So first of all, let's understand what exactly this target is. Under the pay deal that Elon negotiated with Tesla's shareholders, there are a number of different business targets that have to be hit, and for each of these targets that I hit, it releases a tranche of shares. And for each one of those, the shares are worth up to $120 billion. And hitting 10 million FSD subscriptions is one of those. So in other words, 10 million subs to FSD, and Elon Musk gets $120 billion worth of Tesla stock. Okay, so just to understand the context. So where are we today? Well, on the Q4 earnings call a few weeks ago, Tesla actually published this data, and they said they have got 1.1 million vehicles that have got FSD installed on them, of which 770,000 were sales and 330,000 were subscriptions. Now that's 1.1 million in total. I have little doubt that there will have been a bit of a bump in the last couple of weeks, because quite frankly the Teslarati have been ramping and begging people, please pay us $8,000 now, buy FSD now, whilst you still can. I have no doubt some people will have done that, so maybe 1.1 million has hit, I don't know, 1.2 million or something like that. Let's add a few more people on. But the point is, that is an awful long way still to go. The adoption rate of FSD fleet-wide, worldwide, has been stuck between 11% and 13% for the last 4 years. And that is not rising every year. I've had people say, but Ian, it grew by 38% last year. Well, yes, it did, but it's still lower as a percentage of the fleet than it was 4 years ago. It's stuck. Now, supposedly, the adoption rate of FSD in North America on hardware 4 vehicles, we're going down the sophistry route here, is higher than 12%. It's around 18%. Okay, great. It's a number. Let's process some of those numbers through. I actually think that as we start to offer FSD into more markets, the take-up rate will increase again. So I'm going to push it even further. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to assume an FSD take-up rate of 25%. Okay, 25%. It's currently 12. I'm going to be generous and I'm going to double it and call it 25%. So at the moment, Tesla's sales are in decline. Year on year on year decline. And January 26 is no different to January 25 with more decline. So we're looking at Tesla selling as few as 1.5 million vehicles in 2026, maybe 1.6, but it's looking like 1.5 with the way that it's going and the way that demand continues to drop. So 1.5 million sales a year, right? With a take-up rate of the current 12%, that means that they are going to get 180,000 or so new FSD subscriptions. But as I said, I'm going to be generous and double that to 25%. So 25% of 1.5 million is 375,000, okay? 375,000 new FSD subscriptions per year. That is my estimate if sales manage to stop declining, okay? If they stop declining. And that, of course, assumes that no vehicles come off FSD, that none of the older cars, and they are still counted in the numbers, are scrapped or have the thing taken off or whatever. So at that rate of delivery, 375,000 new subscriptions a year, it would take 24 years to hit the 10 million number. 24 years. Now, there is no way that that is going to be allowed to happen. So they are going to have to do something to push subscriptions. And okay, the business plan, whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, and I don't, but hey, the business plan is that they are all in on Cybercab Car XL5, the Robo taxi, the hey, it's a taxi, but apparently it's going to transform everything because it's now automated. Well, okay, let's assume that it is. And they keep talking about how basically they are going to destroy Uber. Tesla destroy Uber. So let's call the new taxi service Tesluber, okay? Tesluber, if it manages to replace vehicles in the United States, because let's be brutally honest, that is primarily the market for this. There's 1.25 million Uber vehicles in the United States, okay? So if we assume no regulatory issues with rolling out automated taxis with FSD and a 50% replacement rate, and that is crazy in itself, a 50% replacement rate of Uber with Tesluber, okay? But that gets you to 625,000 subscriptions. Now, you can only do that once, okay? You can only replace them once. And I know there are some Tesla RT people who say, hey, there will no longer be taxis, and hey, there will no longer be public transport or whatever. But quite frankly, you're absolutely talking bobbins. There definitely will be. So let's assume half of them are replaced. So 625,000 added on to the 1.1, and we'll give it a little bit more for recent adoptions. That gets us to 1.8 million FSD subscriptions versus a 10 million target. So we have reduced the number of years needed to reach the target. It was 24 years, it's now 22 years. It's not fast enough. So Elon needs his $120 billion. Remember, all of this automation is going to produce universal high income where you will not need any money. But Elon does. He wants his $1 trillion, and the FSD subscriptions part of his $1 trillion is based on 10 million subscriptions. So we are going to have to see Tesla do two things. So I'm a sales guy. I've been involved as a commercial manager at various different levels for decades now, looking at the hair, okay? Tesla need to do two things. First of all, they need to sell a lot more hardware. That means vehicles. I know some people don't want Tesla to be a car company selling vehicles, but the second part of what Tesla have to do is to sell FSD subscriptions onto the hardware. You have to sell the hardware to then sell the software. I don't quite know how else to break this to you, but Tesla need to sell an awful lot of vehicles. So when Elon says we're going to stop building cars, I've done the maths. I think he's going to have to, because you're going to have to build an awful lot of cars and get the conversion rate of FSD subscriptions an awful lot higher, even than the 25% that I've generously put it at. So what can they do? even in America, who've had FSD for a while and have got the latest and most up-to-date versions of it, according to Grok, the take-up rate on hardware for the latest vehicles is only 18%. So again, the large majority, the vast majority of American Tesla owners on the latest hardware do not want FSD. Something massive is going to have to be done to make them subscribe. And the easiest sale that Tesla can do is to sell FSD to people who are already driving the car. And the obvious Route 1 way to do that is drop the price. And this, to go back to the beginning, is why I am convinced now that we are going to see some very, very, very cheap FSD subscriptions. Very cheap. I am certain Tesla are going to push like crazy to get the adoption rates up on FSD. So here is what I think they're going to do. Number one, they are going to continue selling cars with controls. I actually think they're going to have to develop some more models. I think they're going to surprise us and kind of go, yeah, we changed our minds again. Because with the greatest of respect to it, even though the Model Y continues to be a huge sales hit as one vehicle, there aren't enough different models out there for sale, and it doesn't matter what market you look in, sales are going down and they're going down and they're going down. So you've got to turn around the sales thing. Incentives, find ways of selling cars to people, and part of that is sell more different types of car. And then the second one is make FSD vastly cheaper. It's clear, it's unambiguous. People will not pay for FSD. Look at the numbers. The latest hardware for cars in North America, and it's got an 18% take-up rate. People with the latest cars will not pay for FSD. Not when it's $8,000 or $99 a month. Even people who've had trials have then switched the things off again. Here is how you sell FSD. Bundle it in with the car and the basic functionality. Okay, I have got a premium internet subscription on this car, and that's $9.99 a month. Bundle FSD in with that. Okay, let's say there's a bit of inflation and it becomes $20 a month. $20 a month for FSD and premium connectivity, so you can be driven by your car and your kids can sit in the back with the rear screen watching Netflix or whatever else. That sounds like a decent deal. That is the kind of price that I think people might be prepared to pay. And hey, Tesla might need to bundle it even lower than that. Because as I've said a few times on this channel, I think the optimal route for Tesla, if they want to sell hardware, and they have to sell more hardware to get to the 10 million target, but the optimal route is the Tetris route. Nintendo bought the best video game that had ever been invented, and they bundled it and gave it away free with a Game Boy. To sell the hardware, bundle the software, and give it to the consumers. That is the way to hit the targets. Now, they have to sell because it has to be a subscription, which is why I'm bundling it in with premium connectivity. But are you following me on this one? There is no way that Tesla can get even halfway to Elon Musk's $120 billion target without doing something radically different. So, do not tell me that they will not do this. Because again, just because they've said they won't do this doesn't mean that they won't do this. What Elon says and what actually happens are quite often entirely different. This is just maths, okay? Not opinion. I can add. And they're not going to get anywhere near it unless they drop the price. Drop the price and suddenly we're in business. So that's what I think, okay? They were basically forced to make changes because of the California court ruling, and before the end of the 60 days they were given for compliance, on pretty much the last day, they stopped selling FSD. We are now into the new world of how Tesla are going to sell their driver assistance software. And it is still driver assistance software. It's not level 4, level 5. It's ADAS. Whatever you guys, and some people I know are quite shouty on the comments, whatever you say, it's still a driver assistance package. And that, by the way, is according to Tesla's own legal team. It's not my opinion, it's Tesla's opinion. If you want to sell this, you've got to make it affordable, okay? We're back to the basics of how selling works. Is it a product that I want? Is it a price that I'm prepared to pay? And is it available to me? Now, at the moment, it's not available to me because I'm in Europe, but at some point in the, hopefully this year, next year, at some point, it might be. It certainly isn't going to be February, as some people were saying. But is it available to me? Is it at a price that I'm prepared to pay? And is it something that I want? Now, at the moment, all of the evidence suggests that it's not something that most people seem to want. Or they do want it, but it's not at a price they're prepared to pay. Drop the price significantly and let's actually have a go at this. Yeah? That's what you do. So with the best will in the world, the people who say to me, Ian, they have to sell it for a lot of money because they got to protect their profit margins. Well, again, commercial guy here. Cash is king. I can bank cash that you give me. I cannot bank a percentage margin on a sale that I haven't made. Okay? You want me to protect my 50% profit margin on something that I haven't sold? Well, 50% of zero sales is zero. Whereas, let's say it was reduced to 20% and I've sold an awful lot of them, then suddenly I'm banking, putting in the bank 20% of an awful lot of my 20 bucks, 20 pounds, 20 euros a month sales. Okay? An awful lot. So if Tesla want to do this and they want to hit their numbers and Elon Musk gets his $120 billion for this tranche of his contract, and we really do want to push FSD out so that the safest cars ever built have then got the best driver assistance software on them. If we want to do that, we've got to make it so that people actually want to subscribe. So let me know what you think. I'm going to shut up now, I promise. But again, I'm doing this from passion. I want this product and I want you to want it as well. And at the moment, if you're watching this and you've got a Tesla, you almost certainly haven't got it. And that's a problem for Tesla. So let's do this together. I think the end of selling FSD is a huge step forward along the route to making it affordable and therefore making it mass market. But what do you think? Tell me. Let's have a discussion. As always, like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I will see you back here very soon on Just Get a Tesla.